Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed Season 1 series. This is the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 1 Episode 3, What a Little Whiskey Can Do. All right, you guys, we've got Ashley's tagline. Throw this spring chicken into the cougar's den and let the games begin. Yeah, we get it. You're 26 years old. Is she like the youngest housewife we've ever had? I don't know anybody 26. So yeah, maybe. Anyway, there she is holding out her glass of champagne with her title card. Boy, you know, if Miss Karen has a problem with Giselle not fitting in to her social circle, I can't imagine what she's going to think of when she meets Ashley. Right? Ashley doesn't even live in Potomac. Anyway, this episode opens up with Katie. She is meeting with a reporter for Washingtonian magazine who I guess had her on the cover 10 years ago. You know, Katie's a model, right? She was on the cover 10 years ago, and I don't know if she's going to be on the cover again, but the guy's like, you look exactly the same. And I mean, she basically does. She's stunning. So he starts to interview her and ask her what has changed in 10 years, talks to her about life after modeling, and she said, well, with kids, no swimsuit modeling anymore. And she tells him that she's the director of the RHOP Foundation, which is her family's foundation, and how philanthropic her parents are, and now she's taking on that role. Then he says something like, you basically have it all, right? The career, the children, except what about a man in your life? What about it? How about she has it all? Period. Why is it that there's a hole in her life because she doesn't have a man in it? I don't know. I mean, listen, this doesn't bother Katie at all because Katie is working harder at nailing down Andrew than she is donors for her charity. And then, of course, she tells us that she was happy to out Andrew as her boyfriend because he's an eligible bachelor and she wants him off the market. Ugh, that was gross. You guys know I hate Andrew. I just don't like that her storyline is her trying to lock him down into marriage. She is gorgeous. She's wealthy. She's educated. She has it all. She does not need a man, and she certainly doesn't need a man who doesn't want to commit to her. Next, Karen and Giselle are meeting at a coffee shop to squash their beef because Potomac ladies of fine breeding do not hold grudges. Giselle says that she's a big girl and she can accept Karen's apology, but she is not going to reach out to Charisse. She said the ball is in her court if she wants to reach out to me. I already apologized to her, she said. I'm not doing it again. But Karen and Giselle, I guess they're good with each other for now. Next, we are on a double date with Katie and Andrew and Ashley and Michael. We learn a little bit more about Ashley and Michael. She met him when she was a bartender at a club in Georgetown that Michael was part owner of. She said she used to watch him on the closed circuit TVs. Okay. So Ashley seems to be working hard to elevate her social status. I think locking down a wealthy husband may have been step one, and now she is trying hard, I think, to get into this circle of women. So I didn't mention this last week, but when Ashley met Giselle and Robyn for the first time, Giselle called her thottish. For those of you that don't know, thought stands for that hoe over there. And apparently, Ashley heard her say it because Ashley is now telling Andrew and Katie. Jeez. Andrew just described Karen to Ashley as older, more haggard, and more stuck up than the other ladies. Yikes. Andrew goes, imagine Giselle on performance-enhancing bad drugs. Katie's like, I didn't say that. Okay, Katie, maybe you didn't say it, but your man did. Next, we are at Robyn and Juan's house. Side note, everyone has such young kids on this show. Everyone's pretty young on this show, other than Karen, who is older and more haggard. She's not. She's not haggard. But it is interesting to me because I'm just used to older housewives on the shows I watch. All right. So anyway, Juan is a professional basketball player, or he has been for 7 years. He retired. He's into coaching now. He had a very rough childhood. His parents were addicts. They died of AIDS. I don't know if both of them, but at least one of them did. When he was like 16 years old, they died. And he wants very much to be a good dad to his children. So basically, she let him move back in after their divorce for the kids' sake. Okay, that makes sense in some respects, but also you don't have to sleep in the same bed. The kids don't need that. Okay, so like I said, he's an assistant coach in Maryland now. And when he retired, they took a huge financial hit. The stock market crashed, and this was when, like the housing market crashed. It was just a bad time. So they are just in the process now of like rebuilding their financial wealth. Juan went on an interview because he eventually would like to be a head coach. And I guess it's out of state because now Robyn has to decide if she wants to move with him if he gets this job. Over at Karen's house, Raven is getting ready for her senior prom. She's very pretty too. She seems like a sweet girl. Her boyfriend, Henry, comes over. He's a white kid. And Karen says that interracial dating in Potomac is very normal, which is interesting to me because during that double date dinner with Ashley and Michael and Katie and Andrew, they both talked about how unusual it was that they were both in interracial relationships. So I don't know what's true exactly. Good Lord. Poor Ray is now the photographer, and Karen is barking orders at him. Step back. Can you step back a little further? All right, turn the camera this way because I would like to get her full dress. Can you stand back a little bit more and then maybe you could get the shot, Ray? Doesn't she need him to run to the second kitchen for her? Could you imagine Erica Girardi talking to Tom like that? This is crazy to me. She treats him like the hired help. And I don't know where the hired help is right now. I haven't seen her staff, which she must have, right? This feels weird to me. Is this like a driving Miss Daisy situation? Is Ray really just her driver? Okay, we have a little scene with Robyn selling her wedding dress. Then we see Karen and Charisse at a boutique, and Katie and Ashley join them there. This is like Ashley meeting Charisse and Karen for the very first time, so I'm nervous. Also, if I'm understanding this right, Karen is having Ashley and Katie there to try on bathing suits for Raven. Why Raven can't try on her own bathing suits, I don't know, but this is what's happening. Was I wrong, guys? Karen and Ashley seem to be getting along famously. Ashley is pleasantly surprised after Andrew's assessment of Karen, and Karen finds Ashley to be a breath of fresh air. Ashley invites Karen and Charisse to a whiskey tasting that she's having because she's opening a new restaurant. Oh, I almost thought I spoke too soon because now Karen seems to be giving Ashley some unsolicited advice, but no. This is exactly what Ashley seems to want. Karen tells her that it's about respect. You need to respect the women of Potomac if you want to get into the inner circle. It's a very difficult circle to get into. But I like you, so you have an introduction. I mean, with Ashley being like a bit of a social climber, I think she's happy for the introduction, She appreciates the tip. In her confessional, she said that she aspires to be Karen in 20, 30 years. Okay, so now Karen and Charisse are just sitting in the chairs, sitting back and watching Katie and Ashley come out of the dressing room. No, turn around. No, I don't like it. Go back. Try on something else. Oh my God, excuse me. Didn't Katie tell that reporter from the magazine that her bathing suit days were over because she had kids? Holy moly. Her body is insane. I guess they're just kind of using each other here because Katie tells us in her confessional that Charisse and Karen have a lot of money and she's got to fundraise for this foundation. So I guess she doesn't mind helping Karen out by trying on some bathing suits for her daughter. Oh, good. In the spirit of moving forward, Giselle is going to the whiskey tasting. Katie, however, is not. Katie and Andrew are in a limo heading to some big fundraiser. Katie, how should I introduce you to people? Oh, nobody cares. I am so over this storyline. I am over Andrew. Okay, so Karen arrives first at the place where they're having the whiskey tasting. This is not the restaurant that Ashley is opening up. This is just, I guess she just wants to try some different whiskeys that she will serve at her restaurant, I guess. So this place is pretty casual. So Karen arrives first, and she is like taken aback. In her confessional, she said, "Here I am, dressed to the nines, and I didn't realize the attire was flip-flops." Oh, you guys. I'm loving Karen. I don't care. You could probably tell me a million horrible things she has done, but I already know a bunch of horrible things she has done, and I love her for it. Okay, Giselle is not loving this place either. In her confessional, she said, "I'm in Gucci down to my socks, and you're directing me to go down to the basement?" Okay, so it's Karen, Giselle, Charisse, Ashley, and Robyn. And Ashley knows her whiskeys. The others do not. So they're kind of laughing, having fun. They're disgusted by some of them. Giselle takes a sip and she's like, "Oh, no, it tastes like a dirty shoe." In her confessional, Giselle said, "Do we women from Potomac throw back whiskey? No, but I'm feeling no pain, and even Ashley isn't getting on my nerves." We check back in with Katie and Andrew, and it's so uncomfortable watching Katie try to hit people up for money. She's trying to get people to come to a casino night that the RHOP Foundation is having, I guess, in a couple weeks. But between that and all the marriage pressure stuff, just enough. Move on or accept the fact that he doesn't want to get married. Oh, well, back at the whiskey tasting, the good mood doesn't last too long because Giselle gets into it with Charisse again a little bit, and Ashley confronts Giselle about calling her a thought. Giselle's like, "Well, you were humping Robyn, and you didn't even know her. I mean, that's usually how hoes behave." She's defending it. Instead of being like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I didn't know you heard me." No. Well, you were humping Robyn and you just met her. Ashley's like, "A hoe has sex with other people." Giselle, "Well, it was hoish behavior." Oh, God. But she does apologize to her. And Charisse, seeing how Ashley was very mature about the way she approached Giselle, it made her feel bad about the way she and Giselle are acting when Ashley's only 26 years old and behaving more maturely than she is. So Charisse got up and went over to Giselle, hugged her, apologized. Yeah. And they squashed that beef, and now we're back to having fun there. Ugh, Katie and Andrew again. They're at home now, and Katie, oh God, first she starts by telling him she just watched 50 Shades of Grey, and that Christian braided her hair, and now she wants Andrew to braid her hair, but he's like horrible at it, and he doesn't even want to do it, and he ends up just like twisting it in a circle and saying, "That looks good." And so he's like, "What else did they do in that movie?" And she decides instead to segue into, "We should have more kids in the house, don't you think?" Yeah, because 3 under 3 isn't enough? Are you crazy, woman? Okay. He's making jokes. She's trying to talk about their future. I mean, honestly, this isn't about kids, right? Because all roads lead to engagement, and that is her sole focus. She is driven. If she was this driven as director of the Ross Foundation, they would be gazillionaires. She gets mad at him because she's being serious and he's joking. So then he gets mad and said, you know what? If you hadn't talked about it constantly for the last 6 months, we would be engaged and married by now. And with that, we are done with this episode. Oh my gosh, you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you have watched this show in the past, do you remember how you felt when you first met Andrew? Let me know if your feelings about him have changed. I don't know how involved he is. They could probably be married by now, I suppose. But yeah, so let me know. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. And I will see you next week for the next recap of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 1. Bye.